Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, I have my buddy Travis Oglesby here talking with me. Travis is a great guy. I've seen them go from no deals to several deals. And when I say they, it's a team of three, me call them three amigos, Team Nitro, but three guys that have come together and created something really amazing. We're going to talk about the power of your team and surrounding yourself with the right people today. Professional real estate investors know that it's not really about the real estate. In fact, real estate is just a vehicle to freedom. A group of over 100 of the nation's leading real estate investors from across the country meet several times a year at the Investor Fuel Real Estate Mastermind to share ideas on how to strengthen each other's businesses, but also to come together as friends and build more fulfilling lives for all of those around us. On today's show, we're going to continue our conversation of fueling our businesses and fueling our lives. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Travis, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Mike. What's up, man? Happy to be here.
Good to see you. So awesome. You guys have a pretty amazing team. I know you guys very well. But for those that don't know you, talk a little bit about your I guess kind of talk about how you got started in the business, and then we're going to kind of dive into how you have two partners. There's three of you guys and a whole team, of course, but how three of you guys went from kind of corporate jobs to self-employed and successful real estate investors by most measures, for sure. I know that when you're a success, I was just talking to another guy that does kind of like you guys, 10, 15 deals a month. And he's like, yeah, I just feel like, sometimes you're at that level and you're kind of down on yourself. You're just like, you don't really think you're anything special or whatever. And, sometimes when you're in the mix, you just don't see what other people see, but you guys have really done something pretty amazing over the last few years. So anyway, Tell us a little bit about your background and your journey.
Yeah, definitely will. Yeah. It's funny how you get so caught in the weeds, like, cause we're never trying to fix successes. I'm trying to fix problems.
Right.
So it's easy to get hung up on that, no matter how many, you're doing 1 or 20 deals a month, it don't matter.
Yep.
But anyway, Travis Oglesby, me and Sam and Vic are the owners of Runway Properties. We run our business out of Georgia and South Carolina. So we all none of us even live there. So I'm in Illinois, Sam's in his RV, probably somewhere in the Midwest right now. I believe he's trying to find somewhere warm within the next month. And then Vic is in, sunny California. So we all, worked our corporate jobs. This will be our 4th year now that we've been in business. So coming up, here probably relatively soon, I think in November, it will be 4 years for us or somewhere in there. We need to look back when we established that powerful LLC. That was a huge hurdle to establish. So we all had our corporate jobs. We all thought we were, we were doing really well. So we thought, but just didn't have that happiness that we did.
Right.
So I'm going to fast forward to a few things because I know a lot of people kind of know a lot of our story and everything, but we all three were lucky enough to be able to exit. And now, we all do real estate together. It's going on 4 years now. It's had a ton of ups and downs within it, but it's been really beneficial for us, financially, spiritually, ethically, relationship wise. And it's taught us a lot of, different things. And so I think that's what we're really going to talk about today is like, what our team looks like, some of the struggles, and then really kind of the big thing that happens, that causes the most growth is really the people outside of our organization. So that's caused kind of the biggest impact for us.
Yeah, and it's people that have been watching our shows over the years. They know that, my wife is an integral part of our business. She's, just in the next office over here. She's never very rarely on camera. Actually, somebody invited her to do a podcast this week, which she did as a real estate guy and just somebody that I know. And he's like, hey, can I interview your wife? And I was like, oh, you have to ask her, but she's pretty introverted, and she did it. She had fun. But, she's like a key part of our team, but not a lot of people know her because she's not the face of it, even though her face is much prettier than mine. But what a lot of people don't really understand when you get into this business, if you're a lone wolf, is there's really some real clear cut divisions in the company, whether it's sales and marketing, whether it's like acquisitions and dispositions. And, if you're doing construction and all that stuff, that's a real natural fit for somebody to like manage rehabs. If you have property management, of course, that's a whole nother business. So these are like units of the business that really are set up to almost have like a C-level executive, right? Somebody that's like overseeing that division of the
Yeah.
business. So there's a lot of benefits to having partners, a partner, or even partners, because they're like divisions of a company, right? When we're
Yeah.
small, it's all kind of the same thing, but the truth is you should think big. So talk a little about how you guys are structured.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely try to, it's funny. I feel like we've been thinking big, and then it's cool how it just continues to evolve. There's a whole new level of big, I feel like every other month that we try to develop or something. So the way the runway is like set up today is, us three, we try to take on like specific roles within the company. Obviously, there's a couple separate divisions where that have to like run our entire organization and where we're headed in the future and everything. And that kind of has the biggest thing to do with the kind of network piece. But the way Runway is set up is Vic, Vic is the guy who lives in California. He solely runs private money. So his every day, his job is to get up and go contact guys like you and I, or guys with a lot more money than you and I have, and try to get them to invest with us. So I know he's developing a website right now, and his sole role is to keep an eye on that money, because notes come due, things turn over, investors need their money back, and that's his job, is to liaise on that, move the chess pieces around, and really just keep the books organized, basically.
Yep.
So obviously accounting is a whole nother horrible mess most of the time. But then shift over to Sam. So Sam runs the entire marketing division and helps oversee, acquisitions, since we all sat in the acquisition role at one time. So
Yep.
Sam's entire job is to keep the pipeline full with leads. Like his entire KPI every single day that we look at on our daily tag up call is, cost per deal. So today our cost per deal, ranges anywhere between 9 and 1,500, and that is the goal that we want to keep that thing in. We're extremely happy with that type of, turnover. So that's the goal, is to always lower it, but we're super happy to have it in there. Vic's KPI goal is to raise $700,000 a month. That's his entire goal. So that's what he reviews every single day with us.
Yep.
My job, our primary, we're sub two guys. So my entire role is creating equity within the company. So my job is to create the actual equity through selling homes. So I do dispositions. So I do all of the sales. So my job is to create X, in equity per month for the division, and X in cash flow. So that's the way like everybody's structured. Now, the cool thing is like everybody kind of has like people that work with them. So everybody within our organization, everybody's a partner, right? Whether you're an owner or whatever you want to label it as, it's kind of irrelevant to us. But so on Vic's side, he has a couple different admins that help him with like his book work and stuff. Sometimes I'm his admin whenever he needs help. So, Sam will deploy his resources like as needed, but he does have some direct admins as well. And then I have a amazing disposition manager who completely runs like everything just right below what I want to take care of and what I'm able to take care of. Then one more part of the team, sorry, let me see if I can kill those, is our acquisitions team. So they don't live in state either. He lives in Tampa, Florida, and he runs our acquisition side of the business. Yep. So it's nice to be able to do that virtually. He has, two full-time admins, and then another acquisition guy who works directly with him.
Okay.
So that's kind of the way the organization's set up. It's got some flow charts. We used to have a bunch of, cold callers and VAs and everything, but we've been fortunate enough to be able to really, cut it down to maybe 10 people at this point. So that's maybe great. Less. So
I love that you're talking about KPIs and tracking them daily, because, at the end of the day, it's that dashboard, that scorecard that keeps us kind of honest. And I think one of the problems that evolve with partnerships, people working together, is when they start to feel like somebody's like, I'm doing more of the work than my partner or partners. And there's a communication problem too. Like we don't communicate enough. Usually it's not enough. Mm-hmm. And so you guys are meeting daily. You have KPIs that you're tracking all the time, holding each other accountable for it. Right. And I know you guys have a pretty amazing relationship in terms of being able to communicate with one another. Like if you guys had a problem, you would just tell each other like, hey man, we need to talk about this, instead of like letting it fester, which is what some people do in partnerships, marriages, like all those things, right?
Yeah. And we still, you know what? And we still, like, sometimes we still do let them fester, but it's for such a short time. Like that's the good thing is, Vic and Sam really, like, they played a huge part in like really helping me like be able to, not necessarily like, I mean, I think we all kind of said what was on your mind, but just like, hey man, this doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna say it, and it's not really the point of being right or wrong, because like we always have the same saying, like within the company, like, you had our best interests in mind. It just, you did the best you could with the information you had at that time. So whether it's right, wrong, like I look at it as like, if you're screwing up, like, I know you're working. If you're not screwing up, I don't think you're doing anything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've been very lucky to be able to like kind of call each other out in respectful ways throughout the
What
years.
would things look like if you guys were just three friends and you all just did your own thing and you weren't partners? Can you imagine that?
No, and I've thought about that so many times too, because now this company has turned into, I never thought I would be doing, whatever amount of deals we're doing a month. Like, I never thought that would happen, could
Yeah.
happen. I think, we all have an image in our mind, but man, I hope I wouldn't be doing this many. If we were all broken up, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But as far like really thinking about it, I just wouldn't, man, I wouldn't want to. I have so much more fun getting to do these things with these guys than I ever, it's the same reason why we're in the mastermind. Like, it is so much, I mean, it's just fun being in that thing, and you don't even have to put the value that it actually brings to the table in it for it to justify its worth.
Yeah.
Getting to do Sam and I always talk about that, man. Like, you put a dollar figure, say you want like 10 million or whatever, it doesn't even matter, $100,000. Like, it is so much more fun cutting that into a third and getting to do it with three people who are going to help you. They're probably going to take you so much further than what you ever could yourself.
For sure.
And man, the like brotherhood that comes with it is
Yeah.
just awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's almost nothing that I do now that isn't through some sort of JV or partnership, just because honestly, one of the things I found about myself is that, so I guess in our house buying business and all rentals and all that stuff, like Lindsay and I are partners, but she's helped hold me accountable. She's pushed me farther than I would have pushed myself. One
Yeah.
thing I've realized, and then with Investor Machine, our lead gen agency, like I'm partners with Jason, and one of the things I've found is sometimes I get content and I'm just like, I don't push myself real hard, but when I have somebody else to think about, like, I push myself further.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like having kids. Like you have kids now. It's like you just push yourself farther because you want better for them, or you want more for them, or you have this responsibility that you feel, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like when I have signed up, when I'm in a partnership or I have somebody else involved, like, I would probably more often let myself down than
Yeah.
somebody else. Like, I'm never going to let somebody else down. If I've said I'm
Yeah.
going to do something, I do it, right?
Yeah, it's why you get a gym partner. Like, it's the same reason why, why there's consultants, why there's,
Right.
multiple people within every organization. It's like the same thing, it's like, if you want to do something meaningful in life, like, do something for somebody else. That's
Yep.
always what it is, man. Do all the crap you want for yourself. It ain't going to get you as far as you want to go.
Right.
You'll never have that well, that's probably not true for everybody, but you want that meaningful feeling. Like, that's why we have that pathway to home ownership, and that's our why, and why we're now owner financing every single home, is like, we're providing a pathway to home ownership that others can't. So,
Yeah.
like,
That's great.
'cause we try to look at it like, and we bring this up all the time when we get frustrated with somebody, because sometimes we all confuse like action and progress. Like, there's huge differences in between those two, and sometimes a guy will get caught up in doing all these actions that, in his mind are super progressive. But the reality is, when I look at your dashboard, it's not increasing. So it really doesn't have the progress. But like, we're trying to be servants to each other to be served, right? Like, if you want to be served, you must first be a servant. So like, we're trying to do that no matter how mad, no matter how frustrated, because the truth is, those mad and frustrated times, man, they come and go so quickly. They're
Yep.
over as soon as you talk about them. So
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things we do in the mastermind is, Investor Fuel is we have accountability calls. We have people report out their KPIs, and we have kind of the hot seat presentation where people have to basically step up and say, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm struggling with, and here's my trends, like here's where I'm performing.
Yeah.
And we don't I tell everybody I had a onboarding call with a new guy yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I'm a little nervous about like my KPIs because I haven't been tracking them very well. It's like, that's
Good.
always, that's for new members, that's always the case. They haven't been tracking them that well. A lot often for us. And then people start to track them, and you start to see people's success just take off because they know they're going to be held accountable. And what I told him is like, look, we're not doing this to harm you. Like, we do these things because we want to help you, but you have to want it as bad as we want it. You have to want it more than we want it for you. I mean, that's one of the struggles I've had with coaching over the years. Sometimes I want their success more than they do, and that never ends well. So
Yeah.
anyway, just kind of, so it's all about just the power of kind of being vulnerable, having partners or people that are looking out for you, and being held accountable.
Man, and that was what was so vital when we came in, because like we were just trying to do deals, like we weren't worried about accounting, taxes, any type of CRM. And then you get up in front of, you get on that stage and investor machine. It's not like it's intimidating, but you get up in front of your peers who are there to literally just help you. And you have to report out on, like organized material. And that organized material, you'll look at it and it'll eye open things. But then whenever you point it out to other people, like you just reading that to other people, hearing their comments, that's what literally, like, yeah, my partners are amazing for sure. And they're the reason why I'm here talking to you and going all the places that we're going. But like standing up in front of that mastermind, reporting everything out to everybody. And then my buddies in that crowd being like, hey, that wasn't as good as the last presentation that you did. Like your numbers are down. Like, what is there? Can we help? Like, and that's the beauty of it. Like, or maybe they increased, and I'm going to tell them why, and then that helps them. It's the servant mentality type thing. So, like, yeah, man, getting to being in that thing and having to report out to people has been. I mean, it's what we try to do every day in our business now.
Right.
It's been
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Yeah. Everybody should have goals. You should always try to hold yourself accountable, but sometimes it's better to just, if it's just us and we're unregulated or we're kind of like not accountable to anybody else or worried about that, we back off of our goals. Sometimes we're like, I don't need to work that hard, or I'm cool with the way things are. But when you start to like voice what you're going to do, you naturally like want to step your game up because you don't want to look like a wussy, right? So you're kind of like, well, yeah, I'm going to do this. Now, the truth is you should never set your goals around something to like impress anybody. Like, do it for yourself, have your own reasons, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't have a good why, like, it's just like, well, I just said I would do it. Like, well, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But it does force you to step up your game when you're have some accountability to other people.
What was cool too, like beyond that, like just being in it, you guys just sent me a birthday gift too in the mail. Like I just got that thing yesterday. Like that was really, thanks for that, by the way. That's really cool, man. You guys you got me like a shirt. You got me multiple different things, a book, handwritten letter, all kinds of like neat stuff. I tell you what, man, that was like rejuvenating itself, because it's like, oh yeah, they care about me. Like, oh yeah, people actually care about you. So that was pretty cool.
Cool, buddy. So talk about a little bit about, we're talking about team stuff. Like if people are, you guys started as a team, and some of them know the backstory, know that you guys joined our Flip Nerd coaching program like 4 years ago. And I remember you guys from when you were like little bitty babies, But
right, man.
What's that?
Still are. We got more beards now.
But But talk about like there's probably a bunch of people that are listening to this that feel like they maybe hit a ceiling of some sort and they're by themselves, right? And so that doesn't mean everybody should go get a partner, right? But just talk about the kind of, for those that are, I think sometimes it's like, you guys were friends first and foremost, right? But sometimes it's a skill set. It's like, man, I'm just looking inward and saying, hey, I'm not great at this. And sometimes it's like, well, you could hire that out, or you could find somebody that is good at that, you have a skill set that they don't, and you just come together, and 1 and 1 is more than 2, right?
Yeah. Well, I think, it's almost like for me, it's like there's 2 or 3 like approaches that come with it. And I'll see if I can remember these as I talk about them. But one is we got lucky and we all started out together. I think like you said, like a lot of people, so I think that's one piece of it is like if you're starting in it, which most of the guys who hear this probably aren't just starting, they might either be solo or they already have their partners. If you have your partners, man, if they're, you just have to determine whether that's a benefit for you or not at that point. But if
Yeah.
if you're by yourself and you want to bring somebody else on with you or you're interested in it, I mean, man, it's so easy to explore that or have a conversation with a person in your market. And you don't even have to sign like operating agreements together. Like just partner on some deals and
Right.
see how that works out.
Yeah.
Because there's guys that are so good at finding deals so consistently. And if you are great at running a rehab project and selling a home, I mean, how perfect of a marriage like can that be? And you can just so simply do that like deal by deal.
Yep.
And then, so I think that's one piece is just JVing really with each other. And then if it grows into more, then start a new LLC and run some businesses through that or, some deals through that.
That's a
And
good
then
idea. What you just said. I just want to I don't want to just gloss over that is like, it doesn't always have to be your business partners like together, like you own a legal entity together. It could be
yeah,
kind of a JV, and it is probably a good idea. It's kind of like dating is kind of like, let's JV on some deals before we make something more serious. Right. If you ever do.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, it just, we've done that in the past. It works out really well. And sometimes it doesn't. And guess what? It's over after that transaction. Like, so be it, at that time point. So like that's the benefit of like, well, cool. Like, well, we both found out like, we were better friends. We
Yeah.
were better as friends. And
Yep.
then, the third thing, and this is what like this is probably one of the biggest ones like for me and like my business to where it is now is like whenever so we're bringing on people to work with us, right? Like I try not to like paint a picture as in like you work for me. And this is outside of Sam and Vic. So anybody that comes into the organization to work with us is like, I truly try to 100% serve them the best I possibly can. Like Kayla, my disposition manager, I will bend over backwards to do anything for her and make her life simpler. Because at the end of the day, she is what makes us money too. So huge emphasis there. But like, I try to literally treat her exactly like I would a partner. Sometimes almost even better, because she's kind of my right hand man. It's almost, I think that can be a huge thing with like partnering with people because she has had huge ideas that I've never thought of already. And she doesn't even, they don't even own the company. But yet she's had transformational ideas. And I feel like it's kind of because I've empowered her to do that. Like, hey, I would love to hear your entire thoughts on that. Because I've seen guys post in the group like, hey, hiring an admin, but potentially could become my COO. Like, or whatever it is, because like in our organization, like I feel like I want you to come into this. Yes, you might have to do some administrative tasks, but I want you to wake up every day and act like you own this thing because I want you to own that complete division. So I feel like there's like three pieces. Start with them, bring them on, partner with them on a few deals, and then hire them and treat them like a partner because
Yep.
they can become just as valuable as one.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of folks here, there's a lot of people that find each other at RIA clubs. And of course, with all the COVID stuff, that's changed now. But I know a ton of people that have found each other through networking, or honestly, there's several people in Investor Fuel that joined separately, and now they partner in different markets, or they like are
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of
guys
that.
right now I just talked to that are partnering. They're both single family guys, but they're partnering together to do some multifamily stuff. I had a call with them last week. So there's a bunch of, just getting around like-minded others, people that have been vetted out somehow,
Yeah.
or that you vetted out. There's lots of opportunities. Honestly, I'm always looking for, even inside of I met Jason at Investor Fuel. He's my business partner now for Investor Machine. So, there's
Yeah.
just amazing things that happen when you get around the right people, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, look how far you and I came together on several different things that
Yep.
we've done. And it's, I feel like I know like you and I are super partial to Investor Fuel, but it's like, man, if you're not in a mastermind, like you have got to do ARIA, great. Like if you're in a mastermind, you should probably be running ARIA, not really always attending one, but to give that value back. But man, you have without a doubt, you have to get in a mastermind.
Yep.
I mean, Investor Fuel is the best we found, or we'd probably go somewhere else. But like you gotta be in one, man. And there's like 150 people in this thing now, so your networks all across the
It just
United.
gets better with time, and we improve, and
Yeah.
the members we bring in, I mean, we've had them out quite a bit, so they always, the quality is always good. And so, awesome, buddy. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I know you got a closing to take care of, so we'll kind of wind things down, but really
Yeah.
appreciate you joining today. Great to see you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, dude. It's always good to be here.
Yep. And everybody, make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. Of course, we'd love for you to consider Investor Fuel. If you haven't, we actually have our next meeting's coming up here real fast. So you should reach out to and go to investorfuel.com. You can schedule a call with us. We'll tell you more about it and see if you're a fit. We'd love to talk about it. No obligation. It's not high pressure or anything like that. We're really looking for the right people more than anything. And I'm sure you are too. So appreciate everybody. We'll see you on the next show. Are you an active real estate investor? If so, and you want to latch on to the power of surrounding yourself with over 100 of the nation's leading real estate investors, all committed to building stronger businesses and living richer, fuller lives, you should jump on a call with us to learn more about Investor Fuel. Simply visit investorfuel.com to get started.